Under the bright lights of New York, this is the Matt and Nate Show. I'm Matt Olivieri, along with
Nathan Labby.
And today we've got a lot to talk about. We'll start off with the New York Jets making a big move today, naming Sam Darnold their starting quarterback week 1, and trading Teddy Bridgewater to the Saints for a 2019 third-round pick. I think that was an awful trade.
I thought that was an amazing trade. I'm surprised that Bridgewater was even worth a third-round pick. In my book, he's worth a 4th-round pick, but what do I know? I'm not an NFL GM. But if you see all these trades and stuff, it doesn't take any knowledge to see that's a good trade.
I think that it was absolutely god-awful. The Jets could have gotten way more value out of him. I mean, who knows? I do not know what other teams were offering. They probably were offering worse, in my opinion, but still. I mean, I just don't understand how the Jets could not manage to get more value out of a guy who proved himself in the NFL in 2014, 2015. And he's a great guy to have as your starting quarterback, and he proved himself again in this preseason. I don't understand why they couldn't have gotten more value out of him. Maybe they're trying to save money, try to trade for Khalil Mack. I am totally open to that. That would be quite awesome, but I don't know. I just don't think that's happening. I don't think the Raiders are ready to trade Khalil Mack, and I just think that the Teddy Bridgewater trade was not worth it. It would have been better keeping him.
I think that what you just said, to trade for Khalil Mack, I think that the Raiders are going to try and get a good trade for him because they don't want to pay him. They don't want to pay defensive players, even though it's just half of your team. They still think that offense wins championships and defense wins games. I think that Khalil Mack's one of the most talented guys to ever play on the Raiders. I think that he's excellent player, but now with all these new rules, half of his sacks last season would be penalties this season.
That's true. That is true. I think that the Oakland Raiders would rather pay Khalil Mack than give him up, similar to the Steelers with Le'Veon Bell. I mean, the Steelers had rumors of trading Le'Veon Bell. I mean, because he wanted a max deal. He wanted an insane deal. And let's transition that into the deals that Aaron Rodgers and Odell Beckham Jr. are getting.
Yeah, Aaron Rodgers, great quarterback, even better guy. I think that in 4 years, he's definitely not going to be what he is right now for that deal, but I think that he's definitely still going to be up there as one of the best quarterbacks to do it in Packers history, along with Brett Favre. I don't see him being better than Brett Favre, so I don't see them being able to pay him more than Brett Favre, because he's in his whole 9-year starting stint with the Packers. I think that he went to the Super Bowl once. He won it, but didn't return next season, which I expect if you make it to the Super Bowl, in order to go down as one of the best to ever do it, you gotta win and you gotta return to it next season. Tom Brady's done that plenty of times. I'm not saying he's the best ever to do it. All these greats, in the end of the day, Super Bowls don't matter to the legacy of a quarterback. They matter to the legacy of a quarterback, but determining who's better, it doesn't do anything. But if you win one, in order to prove you're an elite quarterback, you gotta win at least 2.
I completely disagree with everything you just said. I think Aaron Rodgers will be the same quarterback that he is now, maybe even better in 4 years. Just look at guys like Tom Brady. Tom Brady's only getting better, and the guy's 41.
Don't compare Aaron Rodgers.
Drew Brees is still an elite quarterback, and he's 39.
He's an elite pocket passer. He can't move at all around any of the.
And he doesn't need to.
He doesn't need to, but
Aaron Rodgers won't need to either. Aaron Rodgers is an elite quarterback.
Who's saying that in 4 years?
I think in 4 years, Aaron Rodgers will be just as good as he is now. Aaron Rodgers, how old is Aaron Rodgers? Let's find out
36,
how old Aaron Rodgers is. He's 34.
Yeah.
4 years, he'll be 38. So 4 years at $134 million to lock up your starter, that is a perfect deal.
No, that's
just worth
6
the money.
years. That's 6 years.
6 years.
His contract still has 2 years left on it.
All right.
And then it's a 4-year extension from there.
Fair enough. Fair enough.
When he's 40, is he going to be the same when he was 38?
Then when the contract's over, he can retire.
I'm a big fan of guys retiring when they're 40 and everything, but I don't know why I said but.
Alright, well, Odell Beckham Jr. also signed a huge contract, highest paid receiver in the league. 3 years, $90 million, and I think that was worth it for the Giants. A bit of a risk, maybe Odell will get into a bit of a scuffle with the management now, as he did with McAdoo and that whole mess of a staff.
And the kicking net.
Yeah.
He did propose to it.
He proposed to the kicking net, yeah.
That was very, very manlike of him to do.
Agreed.
I thought he was being the bigger man of the situation. He had to assess it. He couldn't let it go on for anymore.
Yes,
So,
I understand. Odell and the kicking net, a toxic relationship that had to end.
Had to end by proposing.
Had to end in marriage. Had to end in marriage.
Everything has to end in marriage.
Agreed. Like Sam Darnold and the Jets, but we're not going to talk about that right now.
Because that just gets messed.
More news about the Jets, of course. Kirk Cousins left $90 million on the table to sign with the Jets. Took $4 million less to sign with the Vikings as a Super Bowl contender. I think it worked out for both sides.
I just want to hear what you think of it, because I'm not a Jets fan, and I'm not triggered about this.
I think, I might be a bit salty about it, but we got a great quarterback situation. I think Bridgewater we should have kept on the team. Because watch, Darnold will now get hurt. He'll now get hurt week 1. Breeze will now get hurt week 1. Bridgewater will go on to lead the Saints to a Super Bowl, and the Jets will be 0-16. And no, Josh McCown will make them 8-8 just so they don't get a high draft pick and they'll miss the playoffs. That's what's gonna happen. That's exactly what's gonna happen.
Sam Darnold gonna lose the first game.
No, he's just gonna get hurt. He's just gonna get hurt. He's just gonna get hurt on the first play because we traded Bridgewater. Because the Jets traded Bridgewater. Now the whole season's over. No, I'm kidding. But I do think they could have gotten more value out of Bridgewater. All right, let's move on. Let's go to the MLB. The New York Yankees are somewhat gaining ground on the Red Sox.
6.5.
6.5 back, and Neil Walker's walk-off last night. Obviously, good to see from a guy like Neil Walker.
That would make a horrible pun right now, but...
What?
It was a Walker off.
I'm sure John Sterling could take care of that for us.
Yeah, he could. I think that's the spark that needed to be ignited inside of the Yankees organization, because...
Agreed.
Just listening to pump-up music won't really get you there.
Especially after that loss to the White Sox they had 2 nights ago. That was god-awful.
Brutal.
Whew. But the Yankees, they're not going to win the division, and I think it's time for them to face the facts. They're not going to win it without Aaron Judge. They're not going to win it without Gary Sanchez, who's coming back most likely this week or next week. They're not going to win it without Didi Gregorius. They're not going to win it with anyone. But, they got to prepare for the playoffs. Yeah. They got to prepare for it, and they got to make sure that they're ready for it. They got to start winning games. It doesn't matter if the Red Sox win or lose. The Yankees aren't winning the division. The Yankees have to focus on getting into top playoff form.
Yeah. Do you think they'll hit 100 wins?
That's tough.
Because if they hit that and Boston hits that, that'll be probably the best. I don't know if that's ever happened, but I think that. Yeah.
I highly doubt. I highly doubt the Yankees are gonna get.
Probably gonna get 99 wins.
I'm gonna say they're gonna get 96, 97. I doubt they're gonna get 100, especially the way they've been playing. I just don't see it happening. It doesn't seem right to me that the Yankees would be able to do that, and if they don't, they don't. But they need to get in the playoffs and make a run like they did last year and get even farther, because this year so far has been just an up and down year. The first half of the season was absolutely amazing. The month of June was probably the best month in Yankees history. No, not, but still, It was maybe up there. They certainly were amazing, and missing Aaron Judge is huge. I agree. I agree that they with Judge it's harder, but I mean, guess what? That's not an excuse. Your best player's out, but if JD Martinez was hurt, I guarantee you Boston would still be kicking butt. I guarantee you.
I well, yeah, because Mookie Betts is tied with J.D. Martinez for the highest average in the league. And I was talking to my brother about this. And he last season, Mookie Betts was batting around like 270, something like that, when he was not batting leadoff, when he was batting like 3 and 4. This season, he bats leadoff. He goes completely off. You can't contain him in a cage. I'm just saying, like, I'm not saying that, like, anything good about the Red Sox, but I'm just saying they're pretty smart. They have some great players, and J.D. Martinez in the Triple Crown vote, I think that's actually ridiculous. I can't even fathom that.
I totally agree with you. And the Yankees are deep enough to win too, though. And I think the Judge injury hurts, but the injury that stings the most without Aaron Judge is Clint Frazier. Clint Frazier is a guy who would be tearing it up, I guarantee you, right now. And he's hurt, and it really stinks because we have Shane Robinson, who has okay defense. He cannot hit for his life. I mean, face the facts. The guy's Greg Bird with the bat. He's awful. And
hey, everybody's giving Greg Bird some hate, but the month of June was the best month of his life.
I agree. I totally agree that Bird is hot and cold, and he's just inconsistent, and that's the problem.
Most inconsistent batter in the Yankees team right now. Like, I've never seen a more inconsistent hitter, but of course,
he's the Masahiro Tanaka of hitters.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Pretty much. And Luke Voit right now has been great.
Or the Luis Severino of hitters.
Well, no, Severino's just been on a skid. I mean, he'll be back. I guarantee you he'll be back for the playoffs. Tanaka will be back for the playoffs like he was last year. I'm not gonna pin my hopes on it, but they're gonna be back. They're not gonna be like this forever. I can't see that happening.
Yeah, no, I can't see that happening.
Let's go to the phones. Brian from Ossining, you're on.
Hello, guys.
Hello.
Hi, I have a special guest here, Chris from Ossining as well.
Okay.
So we have a quick question. We've been debating a lot about this. We were talking about the 1941 baseball season and how one player batted 56 straight games in a row and another hitter batted 406. Which do you think will ever happen again, and which one do you think is harder?
Ooh. That's tough. Nate, you want to give your answer first?
I think 56 straight games. I think that's ridiculous. I don't see that happening in future baseball.
I think I'm going to have to disagree with you. I think 406 is never going to happen again. And just because the pitching today and because how there's more home run strikeout hitters than we've ever seen.
Yeah, that is pretty good point right there. I think both of them are immaculate and they've ever been done.
Agreed. With today's pitching, I just don't see either of them happening, but if one had to happen, it'd probably be 56 straight.
Yeah, I think both of them probably never happen again. And, we had another trade that I don't know what you guys would think about it. It's kind of a blockbuster between the Red Sox and the Yankees.
Oh, okay. Let's hear it.
It would be straight up J.D. Martinez for Aaron Judge.
If I were Brian Cashman, I'd say no.
I'd pull the trigger right there. Triple Crown. He's in the talking for Triple Crown. The only person that's in his way is Mookie Betts, which is his teammate, and he's tied with his average. I think J.D. Martinez is special.
I don't know. I mean, you have a guy like Aaron Judge who went on a tear last year, and to me, he's just a special guy. He's younger. He's your future. He's special to New York, and it might be biased, but I can't see him in a Red Sox uniform. It's just like the deal of what the Mets were talking about with Gleyber Torres and Jacob deGrom. I mean, if you're thinking about winning now, definitely deGrom, but just in your heart and for the future, you take Gleyber Torres, and it's the exact same with this. I'd take Aaron Judge.
Yeah, that's a tough one. So it seems like the Yankees and the Red Sox are both losing tonight. Who do you think wins this AL East?
It's going to be the Red Sox.
Yeah.
You think it's going to be the Red Sox?
Yeah. The Yankees have no shot.
But the Yankees can still beat the Red Sox in a series.
They can beat them in a series, I agree. But, I mean, the Red Sox are going to have to go on a historical skid, and the Yankees are going to have to be immaculate from now on, and that just can't happen. It can't. It's not going to happen.
So you think in a series you'll be able to beat the Red Sox with CC Sabathia to put on like 82 miles per hour as a fastball?
Ooh, all right. I think. I mean, Jay Happ could. He doesn't throw that hard of a fastball, and he can mow down the Sox. So, I don't know. Don't know.
Yeah, it should be interesting if the Red Sox, when they play the Oakland A's for the second round. So I guess we'll never know.
Okay. I don't think they're going to be playing the Oakland A's. I think they're going to be playing the New York Yankees. But we'll see. We will see how the MLB season pans out. It could be as wild as the 2011 season. We all know how that last day went.
It very well could be. Mm-hmm. And I just got one last question, just shifting gears here to the NFL. I saw the Teddy Bridgewater news come through. Just want to know what your guys' thoughts are on that.
I think it was a great deal from the Jets. I think that it was good that they were able to get a third-round pick out of that. I think with many other teams, they would be able to get a fifth or sixth-round pick out of him, and then a roster filler on their team, somebody that just doesn't play and just sits on their bench.
I strongly disagree. I think that was an awful trade, and the Jets could have gotten at least a second-round pick out of Bridgewater, and I don't understand why the Saints would trade for him. They already have Tom Savage at the backup spot, and I get that Drew Brees is 39, but the way he's been playing, I don't think that he's ready to retire yet.
Cool. No, very good insights. Appreciate being on the show. You guys are doing a great job.
Thank you.
Keep up the good work, and next time I'll call on again.
All right, thanks.
Okay, thanks, guys.
No problem. That was Brian from Ossining on NCSN. He had some interesting points to bring up.
He did, yeah. I hadn't heard about doing JD Martinez for Aaron Judge.
No, that was probably not actually a trade.
I know, but I never.
Yeah, I would never think about that. Yeah, it was never a thought that ever would come to my mind, and I think that. That would be a really tough trade to make. Obviously, win now. I think you would take JD Martinez. The Red Sox would never do that deal, though.
Yeah.
And the Yankees wouldn't either. And like I said, it's just like the Jacob deGrom, Gleyber Torres deal. You just can't see that guy in another uniform.
I couldn't.
Yeah.
I would feel heartbroken.
Yeah, seeing.
Yeah, because
Aaron Judge with a 6-foot-long beard. Playing for the Red Sox.
Growing out his hair.
Yeah, that would be awful. That would be god-awful. But are we ready to shift gears now to talk NBA? Let's start with our predictions for how the Knicks and Nets are going to pan out this season.
Is that even a question? Is that even a topic? Let's see how the Nets and the Knicks do next season. Hopefully not dumpster.
Well, I honestly think that the Knicks are looking up this year, and I think that they won't be god-awful in the future. The Knicks' future is definitely bright, especially with the number 8 or 9 pick of the 2018 draft, Kevin Knox. I'm a Kentucky fan, so I have to say that I'm a bit biased with that, thinking he's going to be great in the future, but I like Kevin Knox. I like what he did in the Summer League. Frank Ntilikina, to me, would be a solid backup point guard. And what we talked about last time with the Knicks and the Jimmy Butler and Kyrie Irving possibly next season landing them. I don't see it happening, but hey, it could. And I like the new coach. David Fizdale is definitely a guy that I think can lead this team. I think things are looking up for the Knicks, but this season they have to focus on getting Kristaps Porzingis back into playing shape after tearing his ACL, and develop Kevin Knox. And I think definitely this team could be a force if they land a big free agent next summer.
Yeah, but also thinking about the thing that you said about David Fizdale. Everybody says that about every single Knicks coach they bring in.
Jeff
every
Hornacek
other
was
season.
god awful, and we knew that when they hired him. Jeff Hornacek was not the answer.
No, he's not. He's never the answer. The only answer is Allen Iverson, but he's not a coach. So.
The answer. All right, good pun on the nickname. And the Brooklyn Nets, I don't think they're going to be doing anything this season. I don't think they're going to be doing anything for a while until they can start building through the draft after they recover from that awful trade with the
Boston Celtics for Kevin Garnett, Paul Pierce, Jason Terry.
Oof, that was
the big three, the
so
big
bad.
Three horrible old receding hairline guys on one team.
Well, the Nets, they're not going to be great. D'Angelo Russell, he's not great. He's not great. And Kenneth Faried got arrested for marijuana possession. So, and Kenneth Faried, what happened to Kenneth Faried? He was an all-star.
Yeah, he was amazing.
Fan favorite in the NBA with the Nuggets
in
12-13, and he's just fallen off the rails, similar to what's happening to Joakim Noah, who the Knicks have said will be waived this season. Thank God, because that contract was a mess.
Yeah, I don't know why they did that contract. That was not a smart contract.
Yeah. And the Knicks also let go Jeremy Lin this offseason.
One would say that it was a dumb contract, the Joakim Noah.
It was a dumb contract.
One would say that.
You think it was a good contract?
Not at all.
Okay, good. So, I think, basketball this season in New York, you're not going to win. You're not going to win, Knicks and Nets. Face it. But the Knicks' future is bright. The Nets, they're going to be losing for a while. Maybe when they start getting those picks back, those first-round picks back, they can for sure rebuild. And it'll be a good rebuild like the Knicks are trying to get through right now. And I think this season, the Knicks just really need to focus on the development of their players, especially Porzingis and especially Knox. And I think the Knicks got the steal of the draft in the second round with Mitchell Robinson. I think he'll spend some time in the G League, but as a big man, I'm sure he will be a great answer, maybe at the backup position for the 5, with Enes Kanter obviously being the starter.
Yeah, I believe that is an ability to be had with the Knicks trying to find any way possible they can amp up their team. And an interesting topic that I just heard on ESPN today being talked about was MLB managers are extremely underpaid. Alex Cora, the manager of the best team in baseball right now, record-wise, I'm not going to say, my opinion, but record-wise...
To me, they are the best team in baseball.
Well, yeah, but I don't want to believe that, but...
Us Yankee fans.
Yeah, it's tragic. He's getting paid half as much as the third-string Celtics point guard. I bet you guys can't even guess who that is. It's Shane Larkin.
Former Pacer. Wasn't
Nick.
he a Nick at one point?
And
He was a
Nets.
Nick on one point. And a Net. I knew he was a Net. He was a Pacer and a Net.
And Nick.
Thought he was a Nick. He
Probably was
Nick.
on the Islanders, too.
Ah,
And, the Buffalo
the Buffalo Bison AAA baseball team.
No, I was thinking of the Buffalo Sabres,
Buffalo
yeah.
Sabres. Yeah, no, he doesn't play hockey. He plays basketball.
Really?
Shane Larkin, yes, he
I
does.
wouldn't
He's on the
look up.
Celtics.
Wouldn't have thought about that.
Alright, so I kind of agree with you. And I think without a good manager, your team would be in a very bad spot. Just look at what A.J. Hinch has done with the Astros. I agree, they have all the talent in the world, but I think A.J. Hinch is a great manager, and I think the Astros wouldn't be as good as they are without a manager like A.J. Hinch. So I think definitely MLB managers are underpaid and should be not making as much as players, for sure, but what's the average salary in the MLB for a player?
Just around $4 million, I'd say. And only a few coaches, only the elite coaches, like Bruce Bochy, he's definitely up there. Everybody in the entire organization of a baseball team is pretty underpaid. It's sad to see because you see the players getting, like, you see Giancarlo Stanton getting paid like $32.5 million a year for 10 years to play this sport that he loves.
Yeah, I agree. The highest in recent times of deal for a MLB manager was $7.5 million a year for Joe Torre. But there are 21 managers earning $1.5 million or less this season, and there are 3 managers earning more than the average major league player salary of $4 million, according to USA Today. So I think managers are criminally underpaid, and I'm not gonna say they're gonna be making player money, but I think $7.5 million a year would be pretty good for a manager like Alex Cora or AJ Hinch. Like Joe Girardi, to me, should not have been fired by the Yankees, and I'm not going to go ranting about on that now. I'll save that for next time. And I think I will save that for next time, actually. That was more of a joke, but I will. I will talk about Aaron Boone and the Yankees managing if that affects their season. But I think that managers, based on how they perform, should be paid more, and should be not making player money, but significantly more than what they make, and higher than the average major league player salary of $4 million. Who should be paid more, Shane Larkin or Alex Cora? You tell me. Shane Larkin, I'm surprised he hasn't fallen out of the NBA yet.
Shane Larkin, why are you hating on him? He's an excellent third string point guard.
I'm not hating on him.
He's an excellent
but
third string
I think
point
that
guard.
you should be spending more
if
on a guy like Alex Cora.
At what you do, you should be paid.
Exactly. And guys like AJ Hinch, Alex Cora, Bruce Bochy, guys like them.
He's one of the 3 managers that are earning more than $4 million a year, and that's pretty remarkable if you're a coach and you're making more money than Brandon Drury. I don't know about that, but I know average
guys like Terry
MLB
Francona
players.
too. I mean, they should be making way more than what they make.
Yeah.
Even Joe Madden should be making more, and it's just ridiculous how guys like Alex Cora are making practically nothing. I mean, not nothing,
Yeah, no,
most
$800 million is a lot. I mean, thousands.
No, like you'd kill for that salary, but for an MLB manager, yes, that is criminally underpaid and should be way more to me. But you know what? I don't see it's going to change anytime soon. It hasn't changed in years, so I highly doubt it. But as more and more players are starting to get record deals, I wouldn't be surprised if a manager started to get a record deal.
Yeah, I mean, what we always hear in the NFL, like every other day, it's like, oh, the new, like the most amount of money, like the biggest salary for a running back, the Aaron Rodgers one for a quarterback, the Odell Beckham one for a wide receiver.
Agreed. And even in the NBA too.
Yeah, I mean, they're just trying to they're getting more money, they're not getting more money. They're spending less money on other players, so players take pay cuts so that they could play with these players like Tom Brady. He could be making like more than what Aaron Rodgers is making right now. He could,
but he can't get a max deal at his age.
He couldn't get a max deal for 1 year because that makes no sense.
Yeah, agreed.
Because you don't know where he's going to be next year.
I think he's going to be playing till 50, and he's going to be torching the Jets till 50, but we're not going to talk about that. And I take back what I said about the NBA, too, getting max deals every day.
Yeah, no.
Because now, of course, players are taking less and less money to play with teams like the Golden State Warriors, which brings me to my next question. Is the NBA watered down, and do you see an Eastern Conference team winning the title in the next 3-4 years?
No, and I don't see them winning one in the next 10 years.
So the NBA is watered down or not watered down?
Actually, I take back what I said about the next 10 years, because
the NBA can change a lot.
The Western Conference is going to dominate, right? They're going to get really, really low picks. You're going to get like the entire conference is going to get from 15 to 30.
And teams like the 76ers are going to build to the draft.
And they're going to be able to draft.
Yes.
So are the Celtics. And it's going to be pretty remarkable of what the Eastern Conference can do, because people are saying, oh, yeah, it's rigged because everybody's going to go to the Western Conference. there's been players that have. There's going to be players that are going to be better than LeBron in the next 10 years.
That's true.
Because...
whoa.
Not next
Better
next
than
20
LeBron?
years.
Better than LeBron is a bit of a statement there.
It is, but...
okay.
You would have said that about
LeBron
being
is
better
the
than
second.
Michael Jordan.
LeBron is the second best player of all time. Third best player of all time behind Magic Johnson and Michael Jordan. And now he's playing under Magic Johnson. Well, not coaching-wise, managing-wise, GM. And I don't see another guy being like LeBron for a while. For a long while. LeBron is an amazing player and just unnatural talent. I mean, he's a freak of nature. And I think that with LeBron's move to the West, I mean, no one in the East is going to win this year, next year, the year after that. But I think in the future, look at the 76ers. Look at the Boston Celtics. In 3 years, look at the New York Knicks. The Boston Knicks. Especially if a guy like Jimmy Butler or Kyrie Irving signs with New York. I definitely look at the New York Knicks in the future. I might be biased as a Knicks fan, but, I really think that they are going to be great in the future. And I think that the Eastern Conference, 3-4 years from now, will be pretty good, maybe just as good as the West. Because things can change. 3 years ago, the Eastern Conference was pretty bad, okay. But 5 years ago, LeBron was on the Heat, the Eastern Conference was loaded. It was the West that wasn't really, anything to look at and be like, oh god, they're dangerous.
Yeah.
The NBA can change a lot, and 10 years from now, that's a bold prediction saying that no one in the East will win it for 10 years.
I took that back.
Yeah, you took that. Alright, good. So, let's talk fantasy football. Me and Nate, our league had our draft, and it was quite interesting. My team is probably going to be awful this year. I had the last pick though, so you can't totally blame me. So Nate, who do you think is the best fantasy player this season? Who will be?
Let's just say I had the first pick, and last year I had the first pick as well, and I completely biffed it because I drafted David Johnson, because if he was available first overall, why wouldn't you? Because of the season he had 2 years ago. But season last year is one to forget about.
Well, I mean,
fantasy-wise, he
got hurt.
That's the reason why I want to forget about him.
And you picked Le'Veon Bell this year?
Picked Le'Veon Bell, strong guy, nice guy.
Is he the guy you think is going to be the best fantasy player this season?
No, never is the person that
is picked first.
Agreed.
I picked Eddie Lacy first overall, 2015.
What happened?
That was a waste.
What happened?
God, he got hurt.
I know, but Eddie Lacy, the star of Alabama.
Agreed. I think that the best fantasy player this season is going to be Deshaun Watson.
Oh yeah, definitely. That's one of my favorites.
I had him till his injury last year, and he was absolutely amazing. Something to watch. I mean, he was just phenomenal, and I think he will be able to repeat that again. Definitely, for sure. Similar to Teddy Bridgewater, how he's repeating by putting up a good show in the preseason after his injury. And who's your biggest sleeper this season?
Biggest sleeper?
surprise.
Definitely not Sam Darnold. 100% not Sam Darnold.
I think Sam Darnold's going to surprise.
Yeah.
That's why I picked him.
Get 6.5 points a game.
12.5. How about that? Double that. 13.
Wow, he gets 1 point above what he's predicted to get. See, week 1.
I think Sam Darnold is a guy to pick in fantasy because he's, now that we know he's the starter for the Jets, I think he's a big sleeper. And I think Deshaun Watson, not only will he be the best fantasy player this season, is also the biggest sleeper this season.
Nobody's sleeping on Deshaun Watson.
I think everyone's sleeping on Deshaun Watson. Everyone's looking at running backs. Everyone's looking at Saquon, Le'Veon Bell, David Johnson, Marshawn Lynch, for heaven's sakes, because all anyone cares about is running backs in fantasy football. And I think Deshaun Watson is not only going to be the best fantasy player this year, but also the biggest fantasy sleeper.
I think the biggest sleeper is going to be Alvin Kamara.
Alvin Kamara's not a sleeper. I think he's going to be great this year.
Nobody's talked about him.
Everyone's talking about him.
When I've talked to anybody about fantasy, nobody said anything about Alvin Kamara.
Well, Mark Ingram is suspended for the first 4 games, so I think Alvin Kamara is going to have more touches, and I think he's going to be, for sure, not a sleeper. He's going to be great anyway. I
take back what I said about Alvin
Kamara.
Kamara. I definitely think Alex Collins. Because if you can pick him up in, like, the 5th round and he's going to go off this year, I don't know what anybody else is doing. He's projected 11 points for week 1, which in NFL fantasy, but that's still a lot.
That's fine if you take it back, but because Kamara's not a sleeper. But Alex Collins, I don't think so. I highly doubt that he'll be what you're saying he's going to be. I think Adrian Peterson might have a good year this season.
I think that he will. Let's talk about Des Bryant fantasy wise. I don't see anybody. I don't recommend anybody should pick him up until there's rumors about him getting. If you're in need of a wide receiver, I'd say pick him up when there starts to be rumors about him
signing.
Yeah. Once that happens, pick him up right away, so you can take him in, and then if he gets signed, then great. If he doesn't, then drop him back. I
say the Jets should probably bring him in for a tryout. We need an explosive playmaker. So yeah, I think that about wraps it up for today. From under the bright lights of New York, that was the Matt and Nate Show. Thank you for listening, everyone. We'll see you next time on NCSN.